Hi everyone. I haven't made a video in a while because it was winter and there wasn't a whole lot to do as far as remediation goes with ventilation issues and all that good stuff. We had our basement completely ripped out and replaced. And we're just now getting to the point where we're filling the dirt back in. The dirt is thawing out there, and we're filling it all back in. Hopefully, within the next couple of months, we can redo all of the cement work that needs to be done. So we shall see. With all the corona stuff going around, I kind of wanted to address this. With all the corona stuff going around, I decided to kind of look at the masks that I had bought for mold purposes several months ago. And I wanted to check to see if there were any Bog masks or Cambridge masks left. Just more for the purpose of my parents, because both of my parents have autoimmune issues. My dad has Parkinson's, and it's progressing fairly quickly. Sorry. Hey, shh. Shh. Hey. I don't even think they know what they're barking at. The blinds are shut, the doors are shut, they can't see anything. Anyway, so I went on the Cambridge site, since that is classified as an N99 mask. And as I was reading it, I noticed a bit of information that was on there that I was misinformed about. I'm not exactly sure where I read it. I think I read it on a review, which is how I found the Cambridge mask. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known about it. And so I have my little Cambridge mask here. And hey, on the review, it said that this was the carbon filter. Okay? So I figured these people have one. They probably know what they're talking about. Well, you guys probably figured that as well. Well, apparently I didn't know what I was talking about. I sat there and read the entire website of the Cambridge mask and discovered that the entire mask is the filter, which makes much more sense than just the valve being the filter. The valve is just so you don't suffocate to death, pretty much. It just makes it easier to breathe, which makes much more sense. So I apologize for the misinformation. I should have done more research myself on the subject. I did not bother going through the websites on the Bog mask or the Cambridge mask when I ordered them. I was in complete survival mode and thought, I need one of those to protect myself from my own house and from anywhere else I go that might have mold. So I apologize. So the entire mask is, the layers of the mask are the filter. This is just so you don't suffocate to death, and it's so much easier to breathe, and the air flows much easier. So I wanted to correct myself on that and just pass that tidbit of information on to anyone who was not doing more research like I didn't. But I wanted to update on what we've been doing now that it's getting a little warmer and we can open the windows and there's more ventilation. So what we've done is I have not been able to sleep in my own bedroom for many months now. I just keep reacting in there very badly. I react in the rest of the house as well, just because the remediation's not complete. But for some reason, the bedroom is just so much worse. I went ahead and measured the humidity in the bedroom, and it was 90% humidity in the bedroom. Throughout the rest of the house, it's probably about 60%, which is still too high. But with 90% humidity, and I mean it goes back and forth between 90 and 60% normally, I can see why mold is growing faster in there. And partially because we keep the bedroom door shut when we're asleep, and so the air passing in and out is probably making it more humid in there as well. But I think there's definitely something else going on in, like, underneath our bedroom. It's completely dry underneath there. The corner here in the living room, that still gets a little wet when it rains heavily, and that's definitely something that still needs to be addressed. We still need to pour the basement floor yet. We did not get to that before it got too cold, or at least that's what we were told. We were told that you shouldn't pour cement when it's cold. I know nothing about construction, anything like that, so I just leave that up to the experts, and if that's what they tell me, then fine. So our closet was a contention. I could just smell it in there. It smelled so damp, and we ended up ordering these bags. Arm & Hammer, I think. And it draws moisture out of the air and collects it in these bags. And just in the closet, there was just so much moisture. It was just insane. So I ended up going and buying a small dehumidifier for our bedroom, and that has brought the humidity in our bedroom down to about 40 to 50%, which is still not great, but it's better than 90%. And then we just ripped off all of the, I will take you guys in there. We just ripped off all of the baseboards in our bedroom, because every time I would get near the floor, which I think probably underneath the wood floors is probably, my husband said that there's a paper lining between the hardwood floors and the subflooring. So that's probably something that's going to have to be addressed as well. So we're trying to figure out how to pull up all of this hardwood floor and get to it. My husband tried to do it the other day, and he's not really sure if it's how it's nailed down or anything like that. So that's something we need to keep working on. But we went ahead and pulled off all of the baseboards and cleaned. Now, that's another thing. There's so much conflicting information on the internet and even among the professionals about what to clean with. I know for sure you should never clean with bleach, just because there's so much water in the standard bleach on the grocery shelves. We've experienced that personally. We've cleaned with bleach and the mold came back even faster, and we couldn't figure out why, just because we didn't know any better. And then we were told vinegar and baking soda together. And then I had someone else who had remediated their house saying no, mold or vinegar and baking soda will not kill mold. The only thing you can really use is hydrogen peroxide. So, and then you have other people that tell you to use a solution of borax, 1 cup to 1 gallon of borax. 1 cup of borax to 1 gallon of water. So it's very difficult trying to figure out which one is right, which ones are wrong. Does it kill all of the mold? Does it kill some of the mold? Does it kill not very much of the mold? There's just so many variables that we're unsure of at this point. So what this white stuff is not paint. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's a sealant. It's a fungicidal sealant called Aftershock. When we pulled this out, now we have horsehair plaster as our walls. And again, conflicting information. We were told that horsehair plaster will not grow mold because plaster is not an organic compound. And then, because there's horsehair in it, we were told that it will grow mold because of the horsehair, because that is organic, and that the mold spores can use that as food to grow. So what's right? I don't know. It's just, if you guys know, let me know. Because at this point, I'm getting so much conflicting information and from supposed experts that are supposed to know about this stuff. And I'm starting to realize that mold's a lot like the coronavirus. Nobody knows anything. Nobody really knows anything. So, I mean, we know that mold grows with moisture and food. How do we kill it? The only surefire method that I know of is if mold is growing, the only real way to get rid of it is just to tear it out and replace it, which is exactly why we did what we did with our basement. So, in the bedroom, again, what we did is, the closet's kind of a mess right now, but we aftershocked in there as well. We went ahead and pulled everything out of there. I washed all of our clothes in 1 cup of borax and hot water. And I know that there's like a 3-step method, but I've already went through that. So we went ahead and did the final borax cleaning, and then went ahead and aftershocked everything in there. Unfortunately, I'm still smelling something in there. Where's it coming from? I think I know. I think we have a heating duct that runs right through our closet. I'm pretty sure that's probably where it's coming from. And we've been, all winter, we have forced gas heat, and we have not ran that. We have lived on space heaters this whole winter because we were told that that is probably one of the worst heat sources that you can have. That and then central air. So again, if you guys know better than I do, let me know, because I'm just really starting out in this journey. I know what supposed experts have been telling me, but then I'm finding out that may not even be true. So those of you that have lived through this and have survived and have successfully remediated, I would love to get your feedback and opinions. Because, again, I'm finding that there's just so much conflicting information. Now, I read a small book, and I'm not going to remember what it's called. I found it on Amazon. But it was about surviving mold and remediating. And it talked about the best heat source for someone with chronic inflammatory response syndrome is probably baseboard heat. So I went ahead and did more research on that, and It seems that's the general consensus. Just gas forced air heat is not the way to go, which is what we had in this house. So now we need to figure out how to close all these vents up without using drywall and install baseboard heating. So that's where we are at this point. We have a long way to go yet. All our kitchen cabinets are going to have to be completely ripped out. They are made of wood, and I'm pretty sure that they are probably original to the house. Our house is 102 years old. I hope we don't have to knock down all these walls. If we get to that point, I think I'm probably just going to say, let's just sell it. Let people know the issues that we've had here. Ginger Renee, come here. Come here. Come here. Sit. Good girl. Just divulge the information that we have and just sell it and get what we can get out of it. And I know that sounds like quitting high school 2 weeks before graduation, but I really don't want to get into where we're having to replace all of the walls. If somebody else wants to get into that, let them have at it. But I just, to me, I just don't think it's worth it, in my opinion. So that's where we're at as far as remediation. I don't know how much longer this is going to take. I would imagine probably at least another year. I hope it's not that long. But again, if you guys have information, if you guys have survived mold and come out on the other side healthy, because trying to detox in a house that's still moldy is like brushing your teeth while eating Oreos. You just get nowhere really fast. So I have pretty much, I'm doing what I can, just trying to stay healthy. I recently had a lower back fusion, so I've been off work since February 12th and kind of stuck here at home since then. And then with the coronavirus going around, everybody's at home. And I even read some articles in the newspaper where people had to move out of their homes because they had to cease their mold remediation. So they're living in hotels right now, which is extremely sad to think about. I haven't gotten to that point yet. I've thought about it a couple times, but who can afford that? Who can afford $100 to $200 a night? So, again, that's where we're at. I would like to, I only saw like 1 or 2 comments on one of the videos I did, but I just wanted to say that there's no reason to be mean or rude, okay? This is something that I'm learning, and if you have more information than I do, which you probably do, you can just kindly correct me. I guess it just is what it is. If you don't like my videos, don't watch them. Just move along. Just pretend like you didn't see it and just move along. Again, if I misspoke about something, you can kindly say, hey, this isn't right, so you may want to correct that. Other than that, it doesn't cost you anything to just move along and keep your mouth shut if you can't be nice. So there's a lot of people I'm finding that they're Mamas didn't teach them very good manners. My mom and grandma always said, if you don't have anything nice to say, just zip it. So, just kind of wanted to address that. So I hope you guys have a good day. If you guys are in the same situation that I'm in, I'm sorry, because it is very frustrating. The good thing is we know what's wrong with us now. We're not going to different doctors anymore, pleading with them, saying, just please find out what's wrong with me. You know, why can't I get healthy no matter how hard I try? Why the more I work out, the more weight I gain? Why is it that I have sinus infections 2-3 times a month, not just a year, a month? Why is my throat always sore? Why do I always have postnasal drip? What are all these rashes all over my body? That's the good part of it, is that we finally know what's wrong with us. Now we just got to get to a point where, how do we fix it? What's the best solution? Do we just say screw the house and move out? Which is the fastest way to do it. In our house, there's no visible mold. I mean, you go to every room and to the naked eye, there's no mold. Now in the basement, there were mold stains on the basement walls, in the lower part of the walls. And so you would figure that it would be there, but not a lot of people think about the air rising from the basement and just contaminating everything. Not just the air, but everything. All of your furniture, literature, just everything. I mean, I didn't know mold spores could do that. I thought if there was mold, you would see it. And I think that's what a lot of people think. So it's just a very frustrating process. You know, do you remediate? Do you move out? What do you do? Because every house that we have looked at, and I live in northern Ohio, I smell mold in it. And I know that there's gonna be mold in every house. I get that. There's really no such thing as avoidance. Even though there are some doctors that will preach that you have to avoid mold at all costs. There's really no such thing. You go outdoors and there's mold. It's just the spores aren't as concentrated, obviously. But every house that we've looked at, I smell it in abundance there. So even though moving out of this house seems like the simplest answer, it's not that simple when you live in a humid climate. Now, if I lived in Colorado, maybe that'd probably be a little bit more feasible to just move and go somewhere else. But in northern Ohio, where even the average humidity in the winter is 70 to 80%, it's not that easy. It's just not that simple of a solution, and I wish it were, because if it were, I would have been gone a long time ago. So I hope you guys hang in there, especially those that are dealing with a moldy house and you're stuck in the house constantly now. All I can say is get outside as much as you can. If you have a front porch, go sit out there for a while. Even if you have to bundle up like I do. Even if you have to put on your winter coat, your hat, your gloves, scarves, whatever. You know, get out of the house as much as you can, just to save your sanity. Just this whole corona thing is just all thrown us all for a loop. So hopefully it's over soon. Hopefully our state at least will start to open back up. Hopefully all states will start to open back up. I just know Ohio was one of the first ones to respond. So I hope you guys are well through this. And I hope you guys take care of yourselves. Take care of your neighbors, take care of your parents, especially those that can't get out, that are immunocompromised. So, just be well, guys.